And this is one of the only platforms that you can still go live on without having some kind of permissions. I used to do live on Instagram a good bit, and now they require that you have so many X followers. And in LinkedIn, they've completely changed their go live policies to, towards permissions and all. That's what you get on social media platforms. So here we are live on LinkedIn, where I have nobody that would hear this or see this probably. So I could have just recorded this as a video, but I thought I would do a live anyway, as I'm sitting out here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon near downtown Kissimmee, Florida, not far from Orlando, Florida. It's basically Orlando, and there's the beautiful park behind me and the whole 9 yards. And it's a great day to say what I'm going to say. It's a sad day for me to say what I need to say, because this morning we have another murder of an innocent citizen, simply exercising their constitutional rights in the United States, which is supposed to be a democratic republic. And we've seen that at the hands of this, secret paramilitary force that is roaming the streets now and, terrorizing at will. So that's not what this video is about. What the video is about foresight and futures thinking. As you, I'm sure, knew that it would be, because that's what we do on our channel. We talk about foresight and futures thinking and how it is something that belongs to me, to you, to everybody, to all of creation, to humans, kin, planet, cosmos, more than human, beyond human. It belongs to all of life. It is a biological, psychological, and sacred dynamic of all living things. What is futures thinking? Imaginal anticipation, the co-creation of transformational realities as experience before time and space appears. We experience it. The poet Rilke beautifully said, and I quote this all the time, that the future enters into us long before it manifests, so that it can work its transformation inside of us. And that's where reality takes place. Something doesn't just appear out there, it appears in here first. And not just in the individual heart, in collective hearts. So there's a little bit of just a minute of some philosophy and grounding around what we call natural foresight. We don't refer to foresight as strategic foresight or transformational foresight, because that all life transforms. There's not a distinction between this foresight and that kind of foresight. There's some people that would say, foresight has different contexts. Not true. It's the context of life. Life has a context. And so the ability to think about the future and to think about it in creative, transformational ways belongs to me. It belongs to you. It belongs to that person over there. It belongs to all of creation. And having said that, I want to take a little bit of a detour, because if you were watching the first part, you heard me talk about this being sort of a sad morning in the United States, and seeing the resistance that's taking place. And so thinking about the future effectively is a hi everyone, it's good to see you on here. Thinking about the future, you think about the future, I think about the future, having the ability, the purpose, and the intention to think about the future is something that allows us to imagine better presents, better todays, better nows, better transformational realities, new landscapes, to co-create together, to be in a pro-social connection, communion with one another. So the systems that exist today, the systems that are a colonial, settler, modernity, locking us in, the capitalistic systems, the extractive, exploitative, erasive systems that we live in, the systems that we live by, they want to strip you and I of the ability to imagine, to anticipate co-creative transformational realities, better futures for all, because unless the future is for all, it is not for any at all. That's why thinking about the future, which is a natural capability of all of life. It is a biological, psychological, sacred dynamic of all of life. Is so critical to us, and it's why the systems that exist want to strip you of that ability. They can't actually take it away from you, but what they can do is they can behaviorally program us, especially collectively, to believe that we have no ability to think about the future anymore, that even if we try, it doesn't matter, that we're voiceless, that we're helpless, that we're hopeless. That, you know, some of us don't need to think about the future because we're the ones in control. And so why think about a different future when I'm living in the present and that I want right now? And it doesn't matter whether others can think about the future or not. Those who need to think about the future the most are those who have been stripped of the ability to think about the future the most, are able to think about it the least. And so having said all of that, I've gone on long enough so that I can now say that futures thinking is activism and futures thinking is resistance. So there are some of you today in places like Philadelphia, Minneapolis, of course, LA, Chicago, different parts of the United States, who are literally on the front lines and are working tirelessly to protect communities, to make sure that people have food and they're getting groceries and they're being protected in their homes and they're not being attacked by a secret paramilitary goon force. And that is, you know, how wonderful that is. It's just great. And those people, that's one form of resistance. And it's a very, very important resistance. And those are heroes. Art, music, they've always been forms of imagination, co-creation, future thinking, and also activism and resistance and change. So for the artists, the writers, the poets, the singers, is an amazing form of resistance as well. And I also want to say that being able to actively, proactively, intentionally think about the future, not just in my car here, I'm thinking about the future, but I'm talking about in community, in active ways, in collective, connective, co-creative, cooperative ways where we're coming together and we're empowering our communities and we're empowering our regions and our nations and states and people and globe to think about the future together and to co-create transformational realities, to empower, activate our collective imaginal anticipation is a form of resistance and activism. That is activism. That also is resistance. And it's the reason why we are hosting this April 23rd through the 25th in Asheville, North Carolina, a great place to do it because Asheville, North Carolina is an activist city. It's a city that has experienced in the recent past community coming together during the great floods and the hurricane that took place, and they know what it means to build community and to be in communion with one another. And I recently was there not long ago and got to hear great stories of neighbors taking care of one another and being in community with one another, and they're doing that again right now. And so it's a great place for us to host what we're calling Alive, A-L-I-V-E, Alive. It is a 3-day futures thinking, activation, activism, resistance, imaginal anticipation, co-creation for transformational realities. It is not, so if you don't know, if you haven't followed our channel before, you don't know the field that we're in. I literally have for 30 years plus been practicing in the field of futures thinking and foresight. You might not know that it's an actual field, but it's a real field. Hi to everyone that's saying hi. And big companies and governments and all over the world, they have groups and institutions and units and divisions that are built just around futures thinking. If you've never heard it before, now it'll be like a red card. You'll be like, oh, I didn't even know futures thinking and foresight was a a field, a practice. It's in strategy, it's in innovation, it's in organizational development all over the world. It's in government agencies practice foresight. Um, but on but besides the practice of foresight with the tools and the methodologies and the degrees you can get and all that stuff, I have a master's degree in foresight. So what? What's more important is that you, I, and all of us we have a biological, psychological, sacred ability with the rest of life to think about the future and then produce better futures. Futures thinking is an evolutionary activation towards building or co-creating transformational realities. And so that's why the systems today are built to strip us collectively of the ability to resist and activate through futures thinking. And that's why we're hosting the Alive gathering. It's not really a conference. It's a conference, but it's not a conference. It's a co-creating gathering, because there's not people standing on stage speaking. All people that are coming to this Alive event in Asheville, April 23rd through the 25th, and you can find more about this on our website at TFSX.com. Obviously, if you're listening to me right now, you know that that's the YouTube channel that we're on, TFSX.com. And you can see that, there at TFSX.com that we're hosting this Alive gathering. And it is not, so what I was going to say just a moment ago is that in the field of foresight and futures thinking that thousands of people around the world practice, there are conferences that that are hosted in places like Dubai and Copenhagen and Amsterdam and Mexico and all over the world that look at trends and artificial intelligence and technologies and all of this stuff. And that's not what the Alive conference is about. We're not going to gather for 3 days to talk about the latest trends in technology, or governmental thought, or sociology, or products or experiences or services by companies. We're gathering for 3 days to literally think about how we can together use futures thinking as activation, activism, and resistance to co-create something beyond the erasive, exploitative, extractive systems that exist today. So I don't care what trends are making the top 10 trend list right now at Alive. What we care is about saying, how do we use our sacred, biological, evolutionary, psychological, cognitive, neuroscience ability to think about the future collectively to create transformational realities. So I see a lot of people were listening to me at one point and they all jumped on and then they left, and you get the goofy comments here on LinkedIn. That's one of the reasons that I hesitated to go live here. But I've been on for almost 15 minutes now, I see, and that's plenty long enough, and I've said what I wanted to say. The main thing I wanted to say is Alive, Asheville, North Carolina, April 23rd through the 25th of this year. You can go to tfsx.com to register for it. Not your normal futures conference. It's not a place where we're going to be talking about trends. Don't really give a flip about the trends. What I care about is different social constructs that would produce different outcomes, and futures thinking as the ability to co-create transformational realities. So I'm not worried about calling foresight strategic foresight or transformational foresight or corporate foresight. Don't care about those things. It is natural foresight. And that's what's going to happen at Alive. And you're all welcome to come. And I can't wait, but only 100 spots are available. So tfsx.com, tfsx.com, and look for the Alive conference there. Again, it's not really a conference, it's a gathering. And of 100 people co-creating transformational realities as activism and resistance against systems of erasure, exploitation, and extraction. And I'll see you there. Have a great rest of your weekend. It's beautiful here in Florida, and I'm standing with all of you today who may be in the cold, and the storms are hitting the Northeast and then sweeping over across Texas and Arizona, but also who are in the streets today resisting, standing firm. And if you're watching this globally, Maybe you're not in that position, but this is affecting all of us. And I guess the last thing I did want to say before I just sign off is that I hope you heard when I said that this event that we're hosting, the Alive event, April 23rd through 25th in Asheville, North Carolina, co-creating transformational futures beyond our systems of extraction, erasure, and exploitation, that I am challenging you. I know it's not the perfect time to go to a conference, but it's the right time for an event like this. And I'll leave it at that. And oh, you know what? I actually will say one more thing. If you're hearing this and you're like, wow, I looked at the website and it costs X to go, plus I'll also have to like get a hotel and a flight to go there and everything. I would encourage those of you who can pay this nominal fee to go to either 1, 2, or all 3 days of this, because you can go to just 1 day or you can go to 2 or 3 days. I would encourage you, if you have the ability, to pay for it. Just ask yourself, is this the right thing for me to do? And you will help me in the next thing I'm going to say. If you're hearing my voice and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally belong at this thing, but it is genuinely real, I'm being honest, there's no way I'd be able to afford to go to that. It's not expensive, but I just don't even have that money. I can't do it. How do I get to this thing? You need to contact me. You need to contact TFSX.com. And you need to let us know. Because we will make a way for you to get there. And for those of you who can't afford it, you're helping us provide a way for people who absolutely can't afford to do this, but would be a critical voice in the room to be there. And so think about that, and I will see you there. Take care. Bye-bye.